You guys, so it doesn't matter what side I sit on. I've done a bunch of different tests of timer photos, and they all are completely whitewashed. Um, so it doesn't matter where I sit, it's all gonna look bad. But this is more about listening, so this is a good important one. Now that I've done all that, it's going to be hard for me to remember what I was supposed to talk about. I was going to talk about somebody had reported that I had slept in a trail that was very, very small. It was about, I want to say, 15 to 20 feet long of a trail. So it wasn't like, a trail. It was like a little, it was like a, kind of like a little garden corner on 3 roads. So a road, a road, and a little tiny triangle, right? If you can imagine that. And it was a little dirt path through it. So there was sidewalk on this side and parking spaces, sort of gravel parking spaces, or not gravel, but like just really rough parking spaces on this side, and a road on this side with a tiny bit of sidewalk there, which was new and in good shape, but it's just a tiny little scrap of a sidewalk that goes right there. And so I wasn't by sleeping there, I wasn't blocking anybody at all. But a huge amount of point is that the side that had where people could park, which I don't even think were parking spaces. It was just empty, like concrete-ish, in not so great repair little space. There were three very junked out, very hoardish, junked out people living in vehicles along that little triangle. So, and they have been staying there for probably more than a year. I've never seen those vehicles move. I've never even seen them drive them. Well, one of the vehicles I've seen driven a few times, but the other 2 I haven't. But they're always there, and at least when I come into Port Townsend, they're always there. And they're people that are, I believe, probably very reclusive and very hardcore in their addictions, where they just, you never see them in town, you never see them anywhere other than hanging out with the other people doing drugs in that little triangle, pretty much, or drinking alcohol and sitting there in that little triangle right where I was sleeping, like just on the dirt path, just sitting on the dirt path, smoking their whatever. That's the only thing I've seen there. I've literally never seen anybody use that path to walk through, probably because of the proximity of there being no reason to use it. A, there's no reason to use it, and B, like, it's right where the homeless cars are. And there's not a lot of homeless people here in Port Townsend. It's pretty small numbers, so they're out of the way there, right? That's the whole point. That's why the police have probably left them there. They're out of the way there. So anyway, about the obsessive stalking, I slept in the little dirt thing, because I got here at just before 9 p.m. or it was right at about 8:30 last night that I got here, and I could have taken a ferry. It's a weekend, so it's weekend buses, weekend ferries, all that. I had one last ferry I could have taken over to Fort Casey to set up camp, but they are having problems every time I go there, where they kind of get up in my face about not wanting me to camp there much anymore, and they don't like homeless people camping there anymore. And so arriving at like 9:30 at night to set up camp would have probably just, caused more issues. Especially since I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the hiker bikers, because I paid for a hiker bike. The last time I was at Fort Casey, I paid for a hiker biker, and the last couple of times I was at Fort Casey, I paid for a hiker biker, and I was under the impression that the ones in the middle of the lot there were the hiker bikers, and then I don't know what their walk-ins were, because they do have both, and the park ranger came out both times and tried to tell me I didn't pay both times when I paid. And she sat there arguing with me the first time, acting like she was gonna come after me and everything. And I'm like, dude, I absolutely 100% paid. And so they're doing the whole lying cop thing, but I was trying to figure out, because the hiker bikers used to be behind the fence, and it needed repairs or whatever, so they stopped having it in there. And the last time I went there for one night, I noticed that people kept on parking in my camping space and getting up into my tent. I shook the camera, so I hope that's still pointing the right way. They kept on going up to my tent and shit and doing weird things. And then I noticed that the old hiker biker sites looked like there was a tent in there. Like somebody else put a tent up in the old hiker biker spaces. And then I was like, I don't know, the next time I go there, I'm gonna have to actually ask them, am I putting my tent up in the wrong spot? What's going on? So I didn't want to go there at 9:30 at night, because I would have been there basically arriving at 9:30 over on that side, and setting up camp at 9:45, 10 o'clock at night. So anyway, that's a long way off the topic of what I'm supposed to be talking about thing, but that's my explanation why I was not in a campsite last night again. Even though I have a tent with me, I bought a brand new tent. Well, actually the tent is in this duffel bag that the camera's sitting on. So yeah, and I did live last night because somebody that works with the cops, going around obsessively stalking me and coordinating, trying to do everything that they can. And I've seen her go into Aldrich's when the Aldrich people have been lying about me and acting like I need to learn how to follow the rules at 43 years old, for no reason, absolutely no reason. And they just obviously don't have a lot of other people. I mean, like I said, there's not a lot of homeless people that come through here. I come through here because I actually wanted to live here, but the people's behavior here is the people that are making themselves known are disgusting here. There are some really, really, really messed up people here. And I guess that's in every city you're gonna go to. There's a deer crossing the road up there. I thought that's the one that had the kid with her, and she keeps on coming through without her kid now. But, anyway, this lady showed up at like 2 something a.m. Doing some weird little skit like she's on SNL or something, like a really weird, totally crazy little skit that she does, and she's done it to me before. In fact, I think probably in the same space, where she comes up and she's like, I need your blanket, like I'm cold, and she's wearing her pantsuit, okay, that makes her look like she's an attorney or somebody that's like works for something high class, right? She's got her like suit pants on or suit coat on and everything, and she's all like, I'm cold out here and I'm hungry and I need your blanket and you need to give me your blanket, and it's a fucking windstorm, okay? It doesn't have any wind right now. I am telling you, last night was a fucking windstorm in the middle of July. Like, I don't know what's going on with that, but it was windy. That's why I had blankets over me. So she wanted me to give her my blankets. This is where it gets juicy, right? Okay, she wanted me to give her blankets, and I recognized her as somebody that is not homeless. Not only is she wearing a suit pant set, okay, not even a pair of slacks and a shirt that's nice, but like a set, like black, all black, super streamlined. She looks like she'd be in some kind of movie. Alright, like she's, I mean, not super high designer necessarily, but I mean, she looks like she works at a courthouse, works at like a place that doesn't even exist in Port Townsend. Those places don't even exist in Port Townsend, basically. Maybe at the hospital she could, well, probably not even the hospital. I don't even know where she works, other than she probably works for the police department. But or the courts, or some kind of mental health type of shit. But, anyway, if you could imagine her coming out at 2 a.m., pretending to be homeless, doing a skit that sounds kind of like my mom acting, where she's like fake crying, but I need a blanket, like literally, like completely fake as fuck. So I did the only thing I could think of doing, which was I went to my phone and did a Facebook Live at 2 a.m. and I'm like, hi, we're live now, where somebody is trying to get me to give them their blanket even though they're not homeless, and they're coming in and acting all weird, and some person, and I'm pretty sure she's working with the police department or something, and I'm not really sure who she is, but there's also these camper vans that were, and that's the other thing, the camper vans that I saw in Oregon that I was sitting there like trying to make sure weren't like Decker or something, like Travis Decker or something. So like 2 of them that were following me around, because there were like 4 that I kept on seeing over and over and over again. 2 of them that were following me around and were in Depot Bay when I was there, but they weren't the ones that showed up when the parents showed up. 2 of them are in Port Townsend right now. 2 of those vans. One is a camper van and the other one is a small little white old it almost looks like a Volkswagen style, maybe like a German or a, it looks like a van that would be from the 70s, like a camper van that would be from, but not like a camper van, but like a little Volkswagen type of like, but it's not a Volkswagen. I don't know if it's a Volkswagen or not, but it's not the type that's the classic Volkswagen that everybody thinks of. But it's like a small little foreign looking white van that has like a black thing attached and like some outdoor equipment attached in the back, and it's just very, very unique looking, and I don't think that there's that many around. Like, I absolutely think they were following me to Oregon, and I don't know, like, I'm sitting here going, like, if they were trying to help me, they would have come up to me and actually talked to me. They wouldn't have driven all the way down to Oregon if they were on my side, right? Without talking to me, right? If they wanted to, like, you know, make sure that people weren't knocking me out, make sure that people weren't stealing from me, trying to, like, help me figure out how to navigate whatever I need to navigate or something like that. They would have come up and talked to me. So that leaves them being part of the stalking group that's doing the smear campaigning, highly likely, because I highly doubt that they came out there just because they were like, oh, Rain's in Oregon, so I'm gonna go to all the same places for fun. Like, they didn't do that. I don't think that's what happened. It's highly likely that they were the ones stalking me, because when I was in Newport, the Newport Library, somebody showed up to do something when I was there, and they were talking to the staff at the talking to the staff that was at the library, or people that were standing near the staff desk, because I could hear them, and it was totally obvious that people were talking about me over there. So it's highly likely that there was some sort of stalking going on that had to do all the way over in Newport. And then when I was where else? Like, there's other places. When I rode from Tillamook to Portland, somebody knocked me out, and I don't think that that was a coincidence. I think that somebody actually knocked me out and got onto my shit. And that was after I tried to send a letter to the FBI, who has not contacted me. Nobody's contacted me, nobody showed concern. So, you know, I don't know how slow that can go or what's going on exactly. But those two vehicles are in Port Townsend right now, and the one larger camper van with like a bunch of stuff attached to the back that's specific, that one, is this still on? Okay, I'm making sure it's still on because my batteries keep on running out when I've been filming Oregon coast and stuff. But these are brand new batteries, but they're not expensive batteries, so I don't know how long they're gonna last. So the larger camper van that's over there, pretty close to where I was sleeping, that one I was suspicious of following me before or being involved in something before, and I can't remember where it was at exactly, but I know it was when I thought people were getting on my, or when I knew people were getting on my phone while I was asleep type of thing, and trying to do shit. That was like in the height of it. And I can't remember where they had followed me to, but it wasn't very far. And they told me that there's a lot of those vans was their answer to that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they followed me to the Oregon coast. And this is Port Townsend, so I mean, it's a long ways. What else? I went off topic. So there was this dude, this early this morning, after that lady showed up at like 2 a.m. Because I'm thinking that the lady showed up at 2 a.m. because of the junkies that were staying there, most likely. They might have been told to call these people if I'm spotted, even though they're junkies. And like, that's kind of the really weird shit that goes on around here in Port Townsend, is even the junkies, the ones that are hardcore drug addicts, are calling the cops and being like, oh, this person is sleeping here, and you told me to call the law on them for sleeping, even though they're not doing any criminal activity, and I smoke drugs every day, right? Like, literally that fucking happens here in Port Townsend. Like, I can't tell you how much fucking shit. Like, I get so pissed off. There is so much drug addict enabling and criminal enabling by police officers in this fucking Western Washington. Not only police officers, but mental health workers, doctors, general society. They sit there and make up excuses like, well, if this addict goes around stealing from everybody, they can't help it. But if you sleep in a park, we need to arrest you for being a responsible adult that works and doesn't get paid and sleeps outside. You know, like, oh, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. I don't know what the fuck is going on with all of these people that are just so enabling of crime that they have to go after the people that aren't committing any. So anyway, that's what's going on. But there was another thing I was gonna say. So this dude that has this little dog that lives over there and hangs out with the junkies. But he used to say he didn't like the junkies, but he tried to call the cops and say, well, what it sounds like is he tried to call the cops and say that I was blocking a trail that he wanted to walk with his dog, even though the end of the trail is 100% blocked. If I could draw you a diagram, there's this triangle, right? And the trail that goes, so it's like a 20-foot long trail, okay? Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It's like a 20-foot long trail. The part that goes out this way where the camper vans are, the vans have completely blocked. It's blocked off. So you're not walking this way. The part that goes in to the sidewalk on this side, there's a bus shelter that blocks off most of it, and a tree that blocks off most of it. So it's just kind of a little It's just a circle that goes like this around a tree and a bus shelter in back of it. Just a little tiny crescent, like half circle, okay? And we're talking like, oh god, like literally just around the tree. Like, I mean, it's, if you wanted to walk it, it would take you 5 seconds or less. Less than 5 seconds. I mean, it just literally is just a thing like that. So I was at the back of that a little half moon shape or whatever. So if he wanted to walk his dog there and I was blocking him, there would be literally no reason for him to walk his dog in there unless his dog is peeing there, in which case if his dog goes pees there and he actually has a habit of having his dog pee there so often that he has to call the cops if somebody's there, that means he's vandalizing, right? He's causing a lot of damage when he's calling the cops on somebody else literally just sleeping there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has no reason to walk through it. Like, absolutely, I'm not even fucking exaggerating. Absolutely no reason to walk through there. But he's literally calling the cops, trying to get some charge on me for blocking the trail. That's how insane these drug addicts have become, and how powerful these drug addicts are or emboldened that these drug addicts are becoming is they literally, like, them and their friends and the people that are enabling them don't like people coming around that don't do drugs, so they literally start calling the cops. It's insane. It's goddamn insane. So, if you want to, and I know that, they have me blocked on some of their Facebook groups still. So if you kind of like watch out for that kind of terminology, like,